Obama, Putin in battle over purported Syria chemical weapons evidence at G20 summit in Russia, CBS News. CBSNews.com, CBS Evening News, CBS This Morning, 48 hours, 60 minutes, Sunday morning, Face the Nation. Video. U.S. World. Politics. Entertainment. Health. Money Watch. C-Tech. Crime. Sports. More. Blogs The Feed Battleground The WH. Webshow 60 Overtime Face-to-Face. Resources Mobile Radio Local. Login. Join CBSNews.com Sign in with. Profile. Manage my newsletter subscriptions. Update my email address. Change my password. Log out. Syria Crisis Explore. Latest. Foreign intervention. Chemical weapons. Humanitarian crisis. Brev. Next. CBS/app/September 5, 2013, 5:21 a.m. Obama, Putin in battle over purported Syria chemical weapons evidence at G20 summit in Russia. President Obama meets with Russian President Vladimir Putin during the G8 summit at the Lowern Resort near Enniskillen in Northern Ireland, June 17, 2013. Getty/file image. Street. Petersburg, Russia. The Group of 20 summit kicking off Thursday in the Russian shores of the Baltic Sea will bring the two men at the forefront of the geopolitical standoff over Syria's civil war into the same room for meetings. President Obama and his Russian counterpart, President Vladimir Putin. 14 photos. Alleged chemical weapons attack in Syria. As they arrive in Street. Petersburg for 2 days of meetings, Mr. Obama and French President François Hollande are preparing for possible military strikes over what they insist was a chemical weapons attack by Syrian President Bashar Assad's army in the suburbs of Damascus on August 21. Both presidents are effectively waiting, however, for the U.S. Congress to weigh in first, so bombs are unlikely to fall on Syrian government targets during the gathering in Russia. President Obama's objective of backing from Congress came one step closer to reality in Wednesday with the Senate Foreign Relations Committee narrowly approving the use of U.S. military force in Syria. Stumbles and discord greet Obama at G20. John Dickerson. Obama should acknowledge risks of Syria strikes. Putin calls carry a liar on Syria. In the meantime, Presidents Obama and Hollande are likely to continue lobbying other world leaders at the summit to accept their alleged evidence that Assad's regime was behind the deadly attack on the eastern Ghouta suburbs, which the White House says killed more than 1,400 people. G20 host President Putin, however, is a staunch ally of President Assad's regime, and he'll be wielding his own evidence to convince the other heads of state in Street. Petersburg that the U.S. and French governments are rushing into military action without solid proof of who was behind the chemical attack. Play video. Putin issues warning to U.S. in going it alone in Syria. In his own turf and looking strong in the face of Western hesitancy to tangle militarily with Assad and his Russian backers, Putin said this week that any one-sided action would be rash. But he said he doesn't exclude supporting UN action if it's proven that the Syrian government used poison gas in its own people. President Obama said Wednesday during a one-day stopover in Sweden that armed groups fighting against Assad in Syria simply do not have the capability to have carried out the Ghouta attack. These weapons are in Assad's possession. We have intercepts of people in the regime before and after the attack acknowledging it. We can show rockets going from Assad-controlled areas into rebel territory with the weapons, asserted Mr. Obama. But if the White House has already shown that evidence to its partners in the United Nations Security Council, including, most crucially, the veto-wielding members Russia and China, it has failed to convince the vast majority of them of its veracity. Heading into Street. Petersburg, the only nation to say it will join in a military intervention not sanctioned by the Security Council is France, arguing over previous evidence. Russia's foreign ministry, meanwhile, has reportedly handed its own 100-page report to the United Nations in a previous alleged